Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome back to another video of the Robbie Basel Show. It's holiday time. I should have done this last episode. I got the Santa hat on, because why not? And today we have a lot to talk about. There's two things of breaking news to talk about. We have the Premier League. One of the breaking news is about the Super League coming back. Yamamoto signs a contract. NFL is heading down the stretch. But today we are starting with none of those topics. I'm going to give a quick update on Iona Basketball because, well, why not? I was there last night. Iona men's basketball, which is what I'm mostly focusing on, and I've watched the most of, so I think I'll be able to talk about this pretty well. They're off to a very interesting back and forth start. They are currently 5-7. I'm just gonna give a quick rundown of what they've done so far. They opened up by losing by 2 to Charleston, but that's not that bad. It's on the road, a tough environment, not a bad loss. They beat Sacred Heart. They didn't look very convincing. And then they lost to High Point. That's probably one of the worst. Yeah, that's the worst loss. Losing by 14, it's down as I think much as 25 in a tournament against a small school like High Point. Not very good. You had Iona losing to Long Beach State. And then they beat Buffalo. That was our biggest win of the season in terms of point margin. Then we lost to Colorado. That was expected. They were ranked at the time. Then we entered league play and lost at home to Marist. Guess they got revenge from last year's championship game. Am I right? Then we went out and beat Fairfield. Then they lost to Hofstra. That was kind of sad. I wanted to beat Hofstra. But then we beat St. Francis by 7. Okay. I went to UBS and watched Iona get destroyed by a St. Joe's team that felt like they couldn't miss from the 3-point behind the 3-point line. And then last night they had their biggest win of the year. They went home and beat the toothpaste squad known as Colgate by a score of 85-65, led by the freshmen who continue to do a lot. You saw Osborne, Shema, I keep saying wrong, is Shema, come back. He played 24 minutes, still coming back from an injury. But the real story of the game was Gene Aringen? I don't know. I'm never going to get that right. He's from Venezuela. The freshman had 22 points. Weza Panzo was starting to hit some jump shots. He had 12. Edon Tretu, after his 33-point miraculous start at home against Sacred Heart, has fallen back down to earth very quickly and only put up 14, but he had some very key shots. Joel Brown started hitting some shots. Greg Gordon had some big impact, a lot of impactful plays on both ends of the floor. Some of the other guys made some big plays. Saw Sully Adewale get a big block down towards the end of the game, which was nice to see. Uh, all around good team win. Gales go to 5-7. They play Harvard next. So we go from playing the toothpaste team, which I guess we left a bad taste in their mouth, and I said that last night on my Instagram. If you're not following the Instagram, make sure to follow it. The handle at @rbasel_11 is down in the description. Iona plays Harvard next. I'm kind of scared because Harvard's not bad. Listen, the Crimson are always like one of those teams that just don't go away, and they're not a bad bunch of players this season. If you look at the Ivy League, I just got to scroll over on my iPad here. They're 8-3. Now, if Iona do win this game, this should be. Iona hasn't been the team that has more than. I don't believe it has more than 6 wins yet, because they just beat Colgate, who's now 6-6. But this Harvard squad is not bad, and they have some very interesting wins. But their biggest win, I think, is against Northeastern. But they've been in games. They also beat Colgate, but not as much as Iona did. But the difference was Harvard did it on the road. Iona did it at home. Harvard, they barely lost to Boston College. They were in the game against Indiana. They lost to Loyola Chicago. That was pretty bad. They just came up a 2-point win, yesterday against Holy Cross. I'm intrigued for this matchup. I think it's gonna be back and forth all the way. Hopefully, I get to talk about it. Actually, no. Yeah, no. Actually, no. Yeah, we'll talk about it in more, in possibly in next week's video. But Iona, in their final home game of the year, put on a show, avenging some of their earlier losses in the season. They're now 5-7, starting Let's get right back on track entering MAC play. Now to your regularly scheduled content with 2 sets of breaking news it was breaking news at the time, but 2 sets of big news from yesterday. And we're going to start with the signing of Yoshi Yamamoto to the Dodgers. Yes, guys, Yoshi Yamamoto signs a 12-year, $325 million contract, making him the highest paid rookie and highest paid pitcher in MLB history. They're not counting Ohtani for that stat because Ohtani, he can do both. Yamamoto, this is insane. Last night, a lot of people were thinking, after what Aaron Boone and what the Yankees have said recently, that he was going to go to the New York Yankees. Now he's a Dodger. They're forming the equivalent of the Real Madrid Galacticos. This team is going to be unstoppable. You have Yamamoto, Ohtani. They spent over $1 billion on 2 players in terms of eventual payouts and whatever. But you guys get the idea. So essentially, the Dodgers are going absolutely insane. They're going all in when they kind of had to, because you do. But the thing here is, I like the aggressiveness. I really like the aggressiveness, because last year they got embarrassed by the Diamondbacks. They're trying to prevent that. And they saw that the Giants were going out and making moves like signing Matt Chapman, which may not seem as big as signing Yamamoto or a guy like an Ohtani, but it's still a big move. And now we're seeing the Dodgers try and come back against that. The Diamondbacks signed Eduardo Rodriguez, but that's not going to do the job. Come on, that was from weeks ago. How did the Dodgers respond? In back-to-back weeks, or in a very short time span? You get the idea. Signing Shohei Ohtani and signing Yamamoto, $325 million. The Yankees, I believe, offered about $300. Mets are apparently were in the mix, and some are saying that they weren't even in the mix at all. I don't know. But what we do know is that this deal is done. Yamamoto to the Dodgers. As a fan of Major League Baseball, I love it and I hate it at the same time, because this is going to make the NL West way more boring and way more predictable. However, a lot of people are putting the season away already because the Dodgers are a god squad. They're going to go out and beat everyone, and it's going to be really boring. And that is very possible. I'm not saying that's not a possibility. It is entirely possible. But what you have to take into consideration as well, injuries, somewhat underachieving. Possibly, I'm pointing at Yamamoto for this, because the transition there is, I think, a slight transition period, possibly, for a guy. Granted, Yamamoto is a stud, but I feel like there could be a transition period. That being said, this Dodgers team, failure for them, if everyone is healthy for most of the year, under 100 wins should be a failure. This team is ridiculous. Ohtani, with his bat, he's going to hit over 50 home runs if he stays fully healthy. Yamamoto is going to go out and get 200 strikeouts, I think, this season. If he does what people think he can do, I think he gets over 200 strikeouts this year. But, this is insane. And this Dodgers team is going to be near unstoppable. Now it's going to be up to the idea of who can really compete with them. And the answer I have for that right now is I don't know. We don't know who can compete with the Dodgers yet, because there's still a month plus left of free agency. Where do guys like Bellinger and Snell sign? We don't know yet who is going to go out there and try and compete with the Dodgers. Of course, you're going to have from the National League. The big team for me is going to be the Atlanta Braves. It's always going to be the Atlanta Braves. The squad they have, what they're able to do in a regular season, they just have to put it all together in the playoffs. And I think they can possibly go out there and compete with the Dodgers. It's going to be really down to their starting rotation. That's my big thing for them. Is there really anyone else? Not that I can think of. For a squad that can really go toe-to-toe with facing Ohtani and Yamamoto. I do not see a team right now Philadelphia, if they went really ambitious, could maybe, but I don't think so. The Mets can't. In the Central, none of them can. Out West, the Diamondbacks are now going to get absolutely ran off the field, I think, by the Los Angeles Dodgers. This Dodgers team is miraculous. I don't think they're. I mean, people might even say, yeah, they can go after the most wins in MLB history. I don't think they do that this year. Net in 2025, I think, is when you really can put that into consideration with Ohtani and Yamamoto pitching. So I think that's going to be an interesting question for that. But listen, if you go with the American League, if you want to go all the way out there, teams that can maybe rival the Dodgers, Rangers maybe, they just came off winning the World Series. I mean, you could maybe put the Astros in there if they get fully healthy and still have some reinforcement. Central is no one. And the American League East, I don't think Baltimore competes with them. I think they have a back to reality year for them. Yankees can't, and I don't think they will. Maybe if you put them in a 7-game series with the Dodgers, the Yankees are losing in 5. That's just a reality of the situation. The Boston Red Sox are getting ran off the field. Toronto is going to get ran off the field. And Tampa Bay, no one knows who's even going to pitch for them on a regular basis. They just lost McClanahan. Glass now is traded, which you have to take that into consideration now for the Dodgers. In one offseason, they've gone out and traded for Tyler Glasnow, signed Ohtani, and signed Yamamoto. Outrageous stuff. Desperation, possibly? I don't think so. This team wants to go all in. They want to win a World Series. Are they doing it right? I think they got the right pieces. Getting a guy like a Tyler Glasnow, who you know, unless he gets injured, and this is the one fear I had with Glasnow, I talked about this last week, was the possibility of injuries. He's had a big injury history in the past. But I think if he can put it all together and go out there and put up a good season for the Dodgers, you have Yamamoto, and of course you have Ohtani. This team's going to be near unstoppable. If they get injured, though, I think what the Dodgers really need is that their youth can develop more. A guy like a Bobby Miller can go out there and develop more before coming back to the majors and seeing if he can stay to that level. And I don't know if he can do that right now. He got rocked in the playoffs, so I think that's something that we'll just have to wait and see. So that's one thing of the breaking news. The other one, we're going across the world to Europe. And the big thing here was the European Super League. Now, for those who don't know what the Super League is, in 2021, oh God, I have to give you some history now. I never liked this idea. So UEFA, who is the governing soccer body of Europe, hosts, the Champions League, when the Europa and the Europa Conference League and all that nonsense. And in 2009, Florentino Perez, this is what I'm reading off this article. Florentino Perez, president of Real Madrid, began planning for a Super League competition, stating that the Champions League was too obsolete and problematic for the quality of the sport. It's not. And was an obstacle preventing clubs from growing their businesses and developing infrastructure. Now, in 2009, Europa League was around. This was true somewhat. And the reason I say somewhat is that the big clubs benefited and the small clubs didn't. But it gave you an incentive to get up to that level. So in 2021, in the eve of the UEFA Executive Committee meeting, Florentino Perez announced the formation of the Super League, aka the ESL, and 12 clubs at the time signed to be involved. This is where the controversy begins. You have Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, City, United, Tottenham Hotspur, Inter Milan, Juventus, AC Milan, Atletico Madrid, Barca, and Real Madrid. And that did not get with a lot of good vibes from the fans. If you follow this whole story, you know what happens next. This is where the fun part gets. If I could find this next part. Yeah, the governing bodies didn't like this at all, and you can't blame them. UEFA began immediately looking into further reforms to the Champions League, adding more money, etc. But what's interesting was that the uninvolved clubs, I felt like was interesting. And the interesting team I thought they left out was PSG. I thought PSG was going to get added because it's PSG. They're going to have all the money in the world. Bayern, Dortmund. But all three rejected it from the competition, and they condemned the project immediately. And which is going to give them a lot of respect. This is all the way back in 2021. We haven't gotten to the new stuff yet. But then all the big clubs, after fans rebelling essentially against the idea, they all eventually withdrew, other than two, Barcelona and Real Madrid. Very interestingly, Barcelona and Real Madrid. So, and now, and then the government's got involved, and it was not good. So now, where are we at? Well, I mean, it's an interesting situation. So the new format, which came out yesterday, consists of something like this. It's a 64 team. Is it 64 team? 64 teams replacing the Champions League, or like teams withdrawing from the Champions League to a project known as the ESL. And there will be 3 divisions. It's basically a promotion and relegation idea. I bet there'll be like qualifying for it too, because why not? There has to be probably qualifying. But, listen, I'm going to give some teams a lot of credit here. And this is where like the real stuff comes into play. A lot of clubs have denounced the project. And I love it. It gives you, as a fan, confidence that UEFA can find ways to make the Champions League better. I thought the group stage, the way they did the groups and all that, was the way to go. Unfortunately, next year they're going to the league format, so you have to, it's going to be more complicated and all that. And I don't like that. But it's something different. I'm interested to see how it works. But the fact that a lot of the clubs have denounced the project, you go to the entire big 5 or 6 clubs in England, Arsenal, City, Manchester United, Tottenham Hotspur, as well as clubs like Chelsea, have all denounced the project. And I love it. A lot of respect to the Prem clubs. There have been clubs from all over the world. PSG, you said the smaller clubs, small-ish club, like a Real Sociedad denounced the project. I love it that these clubs are coming out and saying, screw you, we ain't doing this, we're staying loyal to UEFA. And I love it. The fact that they're not going out there and going for the money is something that I didn't know what to expect. Some of these teams are very we're doing it for the money. Screw it, let's go to the whatever league, the Super League. It's basically a meme now, essentially. I'm making it, I would say it's a meme, but you guys can say whatever you think it is in the comments. But the Super League's a mess. And the whole concept is tomfoolery to some. But you know what isn't ridiculous? Well, to some, the Premier League. That's where we're going to our weekend preview of the Premier League. Starting us off, we had a match yesterday. A beautiful 1-1 draw, a match I did not have a chance to watch because I was working all day for ESPN. We had Brighton find a way to draw Palace? Wait, what? Brighton are a very weird bunch. 18 matches, 7 wins, 6 draws. They draw a lot. They are tied for the league lead in draws with Palace, actually. The difference here is that Palace has 4 wins and Brighton has 7. Brighton's a much better team than Crystal Palace, but I guess going to Selhurst is not as easy as people thought it would be. Brighton get an undeserving draw, and they've had a very disappointing start to the season. I'm concerned for them. I really am, because I don't think they're going to be in the European mix anymore, but we'll see. The match today, this video is not going to go out before the match. It's Aston Villa against Sheffield United. I like this matchup a lot. For one reason, Sheffield should be playing with nothing to lose, They're going to go play Aston Villa. Listen, I think Aston Villa wins this match 3-1, 2-0 or 3-1. It's going to be a 2-goal win for Villa. I think they're going to dominate possession. They haven't they haven't lost in 9 tries. And I mean, Sheffield hasn't won an away match in their last 8. And they haven't scored in their last couple away matches. So here's my new prediction. I'm going to say 2-0 or 3-0. I think them scoring a goal is ambitious, especially against Aston Villa. They've played really good defensively as of late. They've shut out a team like an Arsenal. However, they did concede away to a team. Is this Croatian? They did concede a goal to a club from Bosnia. But I think the backups were on the field, so that's probably why. Sheffield has lost 4 or 5. They just went out and lost to Chelsea 2-0. And the game before that, when they're on the road, they have lost 5-0 away to Burnley. So I think this match can get very ugly very fast. And now for the matchups tomorrow. Starting us off, we have Manchester United against West Ham. I don't know. This is a weird one to me. Because West Ham, first of all, United look really bad. And they actually just drew their first match of the season against Liverpool. However, do not take this result very lightly. United got outshot 34-6. And this should not have been a draw. But I'm going to say this game is going to be a 2-all draw. I think West Ham are going to go 2 goals down. They can find ways to score. West Ham have put up 29 goals. Listen, Manchester United have only put up 18 goals in 17 matches. I think this is a draw. I actually changed that. I like a West Ham United win in this one. I'm serious. West Ham are an interesting bunch, but I think I'm taking away the draw was smart. They're unbeaten in their last 6 at home. West Ham is. They haven't drawn in their last 9 matches together. And United haven't scored in their last 2 away matches. Give me a new result. Give me a 2-0 to West Ham United. I think with the squad they're going to be throwing on the field, I think a big day for Jared Bowen would make a lot of sense here. Give me a brace for Bowen. I think Ward-Prowse and Alvarez are going to have good matches as well. So give me West Ham United. I think they're going to win 2-0 in this one. Fulham-Burnley is an interesting one. I think this one can go back and forth. Fulham have been playing out of their mind recently. They did just, after the 2-5, they were playing out of their mind. Then they fell back to earth. They lost 3-0 to Newcastle. They did just draw Everton. So I don't know how to judge this one. I'm going to say Fulham win this one, but it's not going to be pretty. Give me a 1-0 to Fulham. I think Burnley can grab a goal or two, but they have drawn Brighton. And if you look at the notes I have for this one, Bernd Leno has actually played very well. He ranks in saves, second in saves per match. But Burnley haven't won on the road in a while. So I'm going to say, give me a 1-0 to Fulham in that one. Luton Newcastle, I feel like it'd be an interesting one. Luton plays so well in the first half. They can score goals at home. They scored goals against City, Liverpool, Arsenal. They can score all these goals at home. They just can't finish the game. I think Luton avenged that ideology in this upcoming match. Final score prediction for this one, give me 3-1 Luton Town. I think they're going to win this one at home. They're going to win at Kenilworth. Listen, Newcastle on the road, kind of sus, but they have kept a lot of clean sheets, but I think this is a trap game for Newcastle. Give me a Luton Town victory in this one. They haven't lost it. They have lost their last 3. They haven't kept a clean sheet in a while. I don't think they do that. Luton Town does. But I think this is a match where they go out and grab a couple of goals. Nottingham Forest against Bournemouth. I don't know how to see this one. Nottingham Forest do have a new manager. I believe is it Nuno Santos? Because they did just sack Steve Cooper, which was kind of sad. But he was pretty awful. So let me just check it out. It's not Nuno Santos. Manager, not Sheffield, Nottingham Forest. Next manager, Nottingham Forest. It's Nuno Santo. Replaces Steve Cooper. So Nuno is now the manager of Nottingham Forest, a team that has not won in a while. Bournemouth hasn't lost in their last 5. And they've played out of their mind. And I think this is going to continue. I'm going to say it's a 2-0 to Bournemouth. I think they're going to have a fun game. Bournemouth is going to consider, with a match at hand, is going to continue to look really good and continue their red-hot form. They beat Newcastle. They beat Sheffield. They drew Aston Villa. They beat Palace, and they beat Manchester United. They're on the road again, and I think they keep the goal scoring going. Give me a 2-0 win there. Tottenham Everton. Everton's not a bad squad, you know. They're unbeaten in 4 away games, and they're unbeaten in 4 of their last 5, including 4 wins and then a draw. They've beaten Burnley away. They beat Nottingham Forest. They beat Newcastle and Chelsea, and then they drew to Fulham. Tottenham have won back-to-back. They beat Newcastle and Nottingham Forest. Tottenham, they haven't lost to Everton in their last 5, but I think that's going to change. I'm going to say it stays. I'm going to say it's a draw. Give me a 1-1 draw. I think Everton continues their red-hot form. I think Tottenham do grab a goal early, but it's going to get away from them late on. I'm going to say it's a 1-1 draw. And now to the match of the week. Arsenal against Liverpool at Anfield. I cannot wait for this one. And listen, I think this game could go either way. Arsenal tied for the most clean sheets with 7, same as some of the one of the other clubs we mentioned earlier. They ranked 5th in goals scored, and they do go to the penalty spot a lot. But Liverpool are unbeaten in their last 19 at Anfield. Most solid, creates a lot of big chances, and they're ranked 3rd in goals scored per match. I think Liverpool win this game. I think Liverpool win this game 2-1. I think it's going to be back and forth all the way. But the quality of Liverpool and their play at Anfield, I think what Jurgen Klopp said in the media, like the lack of energy in Anfield, I think Anfield's going to get loud. I think Liverpool win this one. Give me a 2-1 result for Liverpool. Much more quality, much more experience towards the top of the table. I think they're going to go to first place possibly by the end of the weekend. I think they're just a better team. I think they're going to go out and play really good football this weekend. Finally, our one match on Sunday. Also, I just saw there's a friendly between Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. Shout out to those teams. But back to your regular content. We have Wolves and Chelsea. I'm very intrigued by this one because Wolves, they're unbeaten in their last 6 games at the Molineux. They concede a lot of penalties. And they don't score very much. But Chelsea concede a decent amount of goals. They're ranked in the bottom half of the league in goals conceded, but they're like mid-table in terms of goals scored and shots on target. He Chan Huang has played really good for Wolverhampton Wanderers. They're a really interesting bunch. I'm just taking a look at the injuries. That's an interesting injury. I'm going to say Chelsea win this one 1-0. Having Jose Sa out, possibly with injury, and Pedro Neto as well. Listen, they're missing a lot of players. Chilwell, Chukwuemeka, Fernandez, Ugo Chokwu, Cucurella, Madueke, Reece James is out again. Sanchez. It's going to be the battle of the backup keepers. And it's going to be down to which keeper gets outplayed. I think Chelsea just had the better quality. I'm going to say 1-0 win to Chelsea in this one. Any games Christmas Day? No. Actually, you know what? We're going to get extra games to preview today. We're going to preview Boxing Day. Hell yeah. We got Boxing Day. We got more football to break down. Starting us off on Boxing Day, we got Newcastle against Nottingham Forest. Newcastle's winning this game 2-0. This just screams 2-0 to me. We talked about both of these teams already. Nottingham Forest are going to look really bad in their first 2 matches, but I think they are going to eventually start turning around under Nuno. But not in this match. Newcastle at St. James's Park, very deadly squad, and I think they're going to go out there and get a win. Bournemouth, Fulham, I think this is a draw. I think this is where Bournemouth come back down to earth, and Fulham start to get that life back again against Bournemouth. This one, I believe, is at the Vitality? Yeah, the Vitality Stadium in Bournemouth. I just think Fulham are going to be one of those teams that just comes back, keep throwing punches, just like Bournemouth did for the last couple of weeks. I think Fulham's going to come back. Give me a draw. I don't know what the score is going to be, but we're going to get a draw there. And then a very interesting tie. Luton Town against Sheffield United. Luton on the road, they're pretty awful. Listen. This is where Sheffield's going to come out to play. I think Sheffield win this match. I'm dead serious. Give me a 2. Let's go. No, we're going to 3-2. 3-2 to Sheffield United. They're going to score their most goals in a match. They only scored 12. They're going to get the 3 in this match. I think Sheffield United go out there and beat Luton Town in a good match. Burnley Liverpool. I think this could be a trap game, but Burnley can't defend. So give me Liverpool 2-1. This could turn out to be like the Luton match. I don't think it's going to turn out like the Luton match, though, because Burnley are worse than Luton, I think, right now. But listen, I think this Burnley squad has a lot of building to do, and I don't think they're going to come out there of a turf more with a win. And finally, on Boxing Day, we have Manchester United against Aston Villa. Give me Aston Villa 3-0. I'm dead serious. Aston Villa away they've been so good on the road. This team's unstoppable. This is like that really underrated. They're like Brighton from last year. This is the new Brighton. And listen, Manchester United, they have a lot of injuries. You can say all you want. The big loss of Buendia, I think that could possibly hurt them. Tielemans is doubtful. I didn't even know Tielemans was out. Mings as well with Kamara suspended. I think just for Saturday's game. Actually, no, for the game today. Excuse me. But due to the injuries of Manchester United, they just can't defend. Give me Aston Villa all over Manchester United. Brentford against Wolves on Wednesday. Now this one's on Peacock. I think this is a draw. Brentford don't. Is that true? No, they both don't score. But Brentford's a better defensive team. I'm going to say this is a 0-0. I'm dead serious. This feels just like a good old 0-0. Nothing's really going to happen. Teams are going to have their chances, but no one's going to be able to score. Chelsea against Crystal Palace. I think this could be a trap game for Chelsea, but at the end of the day, they just have more quality. This is when they're going to start to turn it around. Give me a 1-0 win to Chelsea. Crystal Palace are a very good defensive team under Roy Hodgson, but I just feel like Crystal Palace can't score goals. Chelsea can. I'm going to give them the win here. And finally, Everton. They are on for Wednesday's games. Everton's playing City. I think this is a trap game for City, but I think they come out with a win. Give me a 1-0 to Man City. They're going to start coming back after their Club World Cup final, which I believe is also this weekend. I don't know. I haven't paid attention to the Club World Cup at all. It's like on some stream. I don't know. Anyway, Arsenal is playing West Ham on Thursday. Give me a win to Arsenal. I think this is where they're going to start to really turn it up. They're a team that can get really good in these big moments. I think a 3-1 to Arsenal is in the cards for Thursday. And finally, for real, this is the last match. Brighton against Tottenham. Give me Brighton. I feel like they haven't won a match in a while, a big match in a while. Give me Brighton here. The Seagulls over Tottenham Hotspur. The Spurs fall 2-0, I think, to the Seagulls. All right, take a breath here, ladies and gentlemen. Not much left in today's episode. Just checking my topic list. Just to make sure I have not missed anything. And no, it's just up to the NFL now. Let's get right into it. Starting us off last night, we had the Rams beat the Saints. Big win for the Rams, keeping themselves. Listen, this is a team I didn't expect. I'm dead serious. I did not expect this from the Los Angeles Rams. They're 8-7. The Rams. What? The Rams are 8-7. Miraculous job by Sean McVay. I should not have underestimated this team. I feel horrible now. But 3 teams in the playoffs in the NFC. The Rams are not there yet, but they're inching closer and closer. Games tomorrow, we have the Bengals against the Steelers. I think this game is going to be really underwhelming. Mason Rudolph, I believe, is starting for the Steelers. Give me the Bengals all over the Steelers, though Jamar Chase, I believe, is out this week. Let me just verify that. So if he is, Jamar Chase is out. Yeah, from last night's. According to the news from last night. Give me a big day for. I don't even know. I don't know who the other Bengals receivers are. I mean, T. Higgins, I don't know if he's healthy or not. Give me the Bengals, though, to win. Buffalo against the Chargers. I think the Chargers really want to hurt the Buffalo Bills' playoff hopes. I don't think they get it done. Give me the Buffalo Bills. The Chargers are using a new head coach for this game. Could we see the magic from how the Raiders did with their first game with the new head coach? I don't think so. The Bills team is too good. Give me the Buffalo Bills. Jets Commanders. I think this game is going to be horrible. I don't even know who's starting for the Jets this week. I don't even know if I'm going to watch this because it's on Christmas Eve and I'm doing stuff during the whole day. But I'm going to say New York Jets get it done. The defense holds down Sam Howell. I'm going to say 17-14 win for the New York Jets. The Minnesota Vikings are playing the Lions. Give me the Vikings don't lose against the Lions at home, I don't think. This is just a vibe pick. But the Vikings are starting Nick Mullins possibly again. Give me the Lions. It's not going to look pretty. I'm going to say Lions win by 4, 21-17 over the Vikings. Browns, Texans. Is this the Case Keenum revenge game? Like, I think Case Keenum played for the Browns. Give me the Texans over the Browns. I think this game's going to have no scoring at all. I think this game's going to be a sleeper. This is the Joe Flacco come back down to reality game. And it's going to hurt the people in fantasy football playoffs. Give me the Texans by 3 points over the Cleveland Browns. Panthers, Packers. Packers are going to go out there and grab a win against the Carolina Panthers. This Panthers team went out and beat a Falcons team that looked really bad last week. But Packers are better than the Falcons by like a long shot. Jordan Love field day. That's my prediction for this game. Then we got the Seahawks and the Titans. Listen, man, I like the Titans team down the stretch. I feel like they can go out there and cause some chaos, but not today in the Music City. Give me the Seahawks to win in the Music City. I'm going to say by 10 plus. Then we got the snooze fest of this session. If you don't count the Washington Commanders against the New York Jets, it's a snooze fest. We got the Colts and the Falcons. Listen, man, I don't know what to think about either team anymore. Both of these teams have been like very, very, very confusing. The Falcons have sold. They really sold. Because now they have to win out to even have a chance. And the Bucks have to lose, I think, 3 of 4? 2 of 3? I don't know at this point. 2 of 3? No. Yeah. They have to, I think. Sorry about that. I think they have to lose 2 of 3 to miss the playoffs. Falcons. I don't know. Falcons are going to hurt their fans here. Give me the Falcons at home against the Indianapolis Colts. Then we got the 4 o'clock games on Sunday. We got the Jags and the Bucks. T-Law is not. I think he's going to be out this game. Baker Mayfield is going to have a field day and going to keep bringing the Bucks playoff odds up. Give me the Tampa Bay Buccaneers over the Jacksonville Jaguars. Then we got the Cowboys and the Dolphins. Listen, the Dolphins are a very confusing bunch, but the Dallas Cowboys are not helping their case. They went out and got ran all over by the Buffalo Bills. I think Raheem Mostert, whoever's playing running back, no, scratch Raheem Mostert. Just throw him off to the side. I'm thinking a big day for if he's playing for Devon Achane. I think he gets multiple touchdowns. I think the Miami Dolphins beat the Dallas Cowboys by 2 scores. But they need Achane to play. I think he's going to be an X factor. Or Mostert. If either of them are playing, I think it's a big day for one of the two. Or both. I think it's very possible. But the Cowboys don't stop the run very well. But if the Dolphins are running the ball well, it's really going to open the ways for Tua Tagovailoa and Jalen Waddle. Because I don't know if Tyreek's playing. Tyreek's playing. It's all over for the Dallas Cowboys. Then we got the Bears and the Cardinals. I don't even know. Actually, no, this game's not as bad as the one I'm about to talk about next. Justin Fields, I think, needs to have his big statement moment. Or like his big game. Like how Daniel Jones did in the second half against the Cardinals week 2. He gets it here. I'm going to say the Bears by 3 scores. Give me a 34-13 win for the Bears. Then we get the Broncos and the Patriots, man. I don't know. Like, this is a weird one. Possible trap game for the Patriots if this was at Gillette Stadium. I don't see that happening. I'm thinking a big day for Russell Wilson. Give me the Broncos over the Patriots. Then we get the Christmas Day shenanigans. We get the Chiefs against the Raiders. I don't know why this game is first. Because it's going to be like at 11 a.m. on Christmas Day, which I think is horrible scheduling. Chiefs fans are going to be like, I think they're going to be restless. I'm going to say the Chiefs win, but not. Actually, no. Yeah, Chiefs win this one. Merry Christmas, Travis Kelce. You get a big field day according to my predictions. So the Chiefs beat the Raiders. We got the Eagles against the Giants. I think this one's not going to be pretty. I don't even know who's starting for them. Is it DeVito? Is it Tyrod? I don't know. Merry Christmas to the Eagles. They get their bounce back win against the Giants. Then we got another one of my favorite games this weekend. We got the Ravens and the Niners. I think the Ravens are really going to come back down to earth. or the flock comes back down to the ground, give me the 49ers over the Baltimore Ravens. Brock Purdy continues his dominance, it feels like, as well as Christian McCaffrey. Give me the Niners by 14 over the Ravens. A lot we've gone over today, but unfortunately, that is the end of today's episode of the Robbie Basel Show. Merry Christmas, everybody. Enjoy the holiday. No episode in the early parts of next week. I will see you guys next Friday for the final episode of 2023. But for now, I'm Robbie Basel saying so long. See you guys next week. Once again, Merry Christmas. I'll see you guys then. Goodbye, everyone.